Preparing too.
It usually streams this part. So,
Oh,
you know, if
all
except for doing that, it's gonna end up on YouTube. Okay.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah. Bye.
Hopefully I read it correctly. All right.
Good one.
Well, oh no, I did the minutes. Welcome everyone to the April 20th meeting of the Town of Rochester Zoning Board of Appeals. Call the meeting to order and start by doing pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and do the roll call. So Chair Zarowski present, Vice Chair Haugen present, Ken Stevens present, Harley Davis, Charlie Fisher. Everybody's here. All right, so we only have one thing on our agenda today, which is the public hearing and continued application for the Ingracia Jameson application for variance for a 12 by 24 shed on the parcel that has no primary use. Before we open the public hearing, we're supposed to go through the make a seeker determination and do the short form environmental assessment, impact assessment. So I believe this is an unlisted, uncoordinated action. So I will move to classify it as such. A second for that.
I'll second.
We have to do a roll call. So Chair, aye. Clay, aye. Charlie,
Aye.
Ken,
Aye.
Harley. Okay, great. So that carries unlisted, uncoordinated. Because I don't know how to make the printer here work, I did not print out the short EAF, but I have it up on my screen. So I was thinking we could just go ahead and do it, but I'll just read everything out. So will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? I think that's.
Yeah, it actually does, because it's pre-existing zoning law.
The shed.
No, the fact that the law exists, we want it to shut up.
Oh, sure. Do you think it's a moderate impact or a small impact? Small. Anyone disagree with that? All right, small impact. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity use of land? I also think that's small. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
No or small?
No.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? There isn't one there, so no. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No. That could be debatable simply because they're going to have traffic, pull their vehicles over and they.
Small impact?
I would have to go with small because it's not.
Yeah,
It's not going to stop traffic.
Okay, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonable available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? It's gonna have no impact on that. Will the proposed action impact existing water supplies or wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? I'm going with, I agree with no. Will the proposed,
No.
okay. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, for example, wetland, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna?
No.
All right. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? So no or small. No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No or small. Okay, so determination of significance, we said that there was no or small impact on everything. So I'm going to check that we have determined that it will not result in any significant adverse impacts. I'm just going to quickly type this out. Town of Rochester ZBA, April 20th, 2023. I'll sign it. And then, okay, great. And do we want to make any notes on any of those small impacts, or are we just comfortable? Okay, great. So I move that we adopt this short EAF part 2 and a determination of no significance. Do you have a second? All right. I am in favor. Charlie? Fine. Farley? Okay. Okay. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and open our public hearing. So for the public hearing, for anyone who's here to speak, basically you're speaking to the board, not to, well, the applicant's not actually here. So speaking to the board, we don't want to engage in a lot of back and forth. We give people 7 minutes. So if it goes longer than that, we might cut you off, but then if no one else wants to speak, you can speak again. So we did receive some written comments, which I'm not sure if the people wanted them read into the record, but we should, since we don't know. And yeah, so with that, I don't think I have to make a motion to open the public comment. I think we just have to vote to close it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and open the public comment. Is there anyone who would like to speak?
Yes,
Sure.
My
And
name
do you
is-
mind just saying your name? Yeah, go ahead.
Nicole Quick. I just want to make sure you did receive the email from my mother Carolyn Baker and my aunt Nancy Stryker. Because the property that is most affected by this said shed would be my late uncle Burton Crum. And there is, as my father stated in the email, a dispute as to where the property border actually is and whether it would be on her property or if it would be on my uncle's property. And it is something that they wish to have postponed until they could be present, since they are all in Florida right now and they will be home within a month, and they would like to voice their opinion and have a chance to look more into this. Because unfortunately, with mail being forwarded from my uncle to Florida, they did not receive any communications in a timely manner that they could look into the borders and really anything too much about it. So they have asked, and I would like to reiterate their respect of postponing this until they can be present.
Anyone else who'd like to speak?
Yeah, I'm Kirk Rotenberg, and so with that, will be read into the record, the email from Cheryl.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, it's part of the official record. Sometimes people don't want us to read something out loud, but it sounds like there's.
But it will be in the official record,
Yeah, and we'll also read it.
because I think it was fairly pertinent communication. I did speak with Cheryl and Bobby earlier today. They just wanted to make sure that it's received. I'm not immediate adjacent to the property, but I'm right behind their property. Actually, the property is perhaps going to be sold, and there's some type of, it could impact the selling of the property. There's discussion of selling the property. The only concerns, I think the letter spoke for itself, of course, asking for it to be postponed for 1 month. But other than that, I'm not sure if it's clear for access to the shed will come, because the driveway is actually to the Crum property, it's not to that. So the access, I would assume, has to go right off the curb, centering the road. That's a good point. And that's a bad curve. I live right there. Been fortunate there hasn't been a catastrophic accident pulling in and out of that. So if it was split traffic from one side to the other, the crossing, and that's reasonable, but if you're going in and out of that curve, I can't see the money given the drive access to it. It just, it's right in a blind spot of the curve. But that's side note. I think the letter that was written asking for it to be postponed for a month seemed reasonable.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Oh,
No, you're there, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and read this letter that's not been referenced. I don't think anyone here has gotten this letter because with the absence of our secretary, just came in today. It was forwarded to me through the supervisor and someone who was checking the email. So here's what it says. And this letter is from Carolyn A. Baker and Nancy K. Stryker. So it says, we are writing in response to the notice of hearing on the application of Gracia Jameson. We are Carolyn A. Baker and Nancy Stryker, sisters of Burton R. Crum and adjoining property owner. Unfortunately, Burton passed away suddenly and unexpectedly in late December. We are the beneficiaries and co-executors of the estate. We both live in Florida and are unable to attend the hearing in person. It was only recently that we learned of the application hearing as a result of our late brother's mail being forwarded to our Florida address. For that reason alone, we would request that this hearing be adjourned for a minimum of 1 month so that we may appear before your board in person to express our concerns and present additional information. There are several factors that give us cause for concern. We know there had been an ongoing disagreement between Burton and Ms. Jameson over exactly where the property boundary was located. This is partly due to the fact that Ulster County and Town of Rochester tax maps wrongfully indicate that parcel 60.3-2-39.1, currently owned by Ms. Jameson, extends along Sampsonville Road to and including Golden Lake. Other county maps and longstanding deeds dating back to the 1860s rightfully depict otherwise. Upon receiving the notice, we attempted to learn where on the property Ms. Jameson was proposing to locate the shed. It was only a couple days ago that we were able to learn that the application indicates the proposed building may at the very least be quite close to the property line, or may even be at least partly on our property. For these stated and other concerns, we hereby request that the board delay making any ruling on this application and or postpone or adjourn the hearing for at least 1 month. Carolyn Baker, Nancy K. Stryker. So that is the letter in reference. If I can figure out how to put that in our Google Drive, I will, but it's here. So is there anyone else that wants to speak today? Sounds like yeah. Okay, so we have a few options. Seems like no one else wants to speak today. We can vote to kind of close the public hearing for now, but to keep it open. So meaning we can continue to receive comments and we can open it again for in-person comments at our next. That's one option. We can also close the public hearing tonight. We don't think there's anything else we're going to learn. And then if we do that, we could either postpone making a decision to like give us more time to look into this stuff, or we could decide to make a decision. Does anyone have any thoughts on those
I
options?
think we should keep it open, because if you close it, then you gotta put out another notice. When if you open it, to open it back out. You can't just open it next month, you gotta. So I think we should keep it open.
Anyone else have thoughts?
It should stay open as well. I mean, obviously, we need to gather more information.
I think we should stay open. The applicants aren't here. Maybe they had a reason why they couldn't be here as well.
Yeah, they had a family visiting in town, and they actually asked if we could reschedule. We let them know, well, you don't actually have to be here. So, and we already noticed it, so it would actually be a pain to reschedule for kind of the reason Charlie mentioned. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, given that the applicants had requested it to be rescheduled, in light of what everybody said, I agree. I think keeping it open, continuing it, I think that's the right word. Makes sense.
Okay. So it sounds like everyone's in agreement on that. So let's, again, I'm not entirely sure if we should vote, so we might as well just say, so I'm gonna suggest that we, Oh, well, on,
Yeah.
because I'm gonna make a move that we hold the public hearing open until our next scheduled meeting, which is on, just say the date. It would be, I want to say May 18th, Thursday, May 18th. So we'll hold this open until Thursday, May 18th, meaning we can continue to receive written or verbal comments on it. So Charlie, second that.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so closed for today, but open for the future. Now someone's walking in hurriedly. Were you here to make a public comment?
I don't know.
Oh, no, you're good. Okay. Okay, great. So this is still on, this is like the item on our agenda right now. So do folks have anything else?
Can we request the last survey from Carol and Nancy? Because the survey that, I don't know, however you say it, their last name, yes, they had it done 2021 by Menbach and Eggers.
Mhm.
So I'd be curious to see what the neighboring survey says.
Well, yeah, I'd be curious too. I think it's on them. No.
That just because there was a survey doesn't mean
Doesn't
that
mean
it
it's
was
correct.
submitted and it was
Yes.
correct. That's right.
Yeah, we have,
And then also at the same time, they should apply for a curb cut with the county and see if the county will allow them to have one.
yeah, so
That's their own due diligence.
so
We put in that on that side of the road,
Well,
so they don't need it, we'll have to be able to put it further.
Well, they'd have to regardless, because you need egress in order to get in and out. So anytime you add another, unless you're using the existing driveway.
Unless they're
So
walking
there's-
across the road.
there's no driveway. So our attorney, there's two things. One is, we've gotten new information from the public that there's some sort of ongoing dispute about where exactly the boundary is. The survey that we have on record, at least from what was in the letter from the neighbors, the survey from the applicant does not indicate that the private road called Golden Lane, that indicates that Golden Lane is not on their property or not adjacent to their property.
So that might be a moot issue.
That debate might actually have been resolved, but it's unclear because we have one party who's deceased and another party who, it sounds like not everyone got to see the document. I think everyone just wants to make sure that there's not an issue. Totally valid. On the point of road access, our board's attorney did advise us that that's not germane to the question before us. Though we can encourage the applicant to figure out road access, and we actually did in one of our previous meetings suggest that they look into whether there's been like potentially some sort of access easement across the adjoining property, which maybe now we're learning that there isn't from other folks, but we don't know. These are old deeds. Sometimes there's stuff.
I would just hate for somebody to get hurt there or them
Yeah.
to receive a parking ticket
Right.
just because they didn't do something wise.
Yeah.
Well, and God forbid it caught on fire, now the fire department get in
If they're
close enough to.
Right, put it out. So yeah, so we did raise that we thought it'd be good. We could put something to that effect, whatever decision, but we can't. It's not part of the question. We're not doing a site plan review or anything like that. Okay, so it sounds like we need to confirm, maybe by continuing to check with our lawyer, like holding the public hearing open so that the neighboring folks can have a chance to just take a better look at what's being presented and make sure that what's being presented to us isn't actively in dispute. Because if it is in dispute, that obviously impacts what we want to do. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to say on this? We'll hold it open. Hopefully we can resolve all these things by our next meeting so we can resolve this for everyone. We don't have any other agenda items except for looking at the minutes from our last meeting. Did everyone get a chance to look at those? It was just draft minutes.
I did just now. before you-
Did you have any comments?
Nope.
Are people comfortable adopting those draft minutes?
I
Or
didn't see 'em.
I looked at them.
They're pretty brief. You know, right, so Kira just posted them
On the
on
drive.
the Google Drive.
Yeah.
But,
We can hold that. We don't have to vote on
I'm
that.
going to hold it because
Yeah.
once again,
You wanna look
she was
at it?
supposed to send me.
Right, that's
that
the deal
drawing,
you all had
and
worked out.
She's never sent.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, we don't have to vote on that. The other thing, there's no new applications. And I don't have any information about trainings, but if people hear about trainings that they want to do, you should do them. Do you know of any upcoming that you want to share? I get emails about them all the time, but I did not
I get
have
them
time
from
to
DEC.
organize.
And
Oh, you get
I
these.
get a lot of.
Oh,
Yes. Opportunity to sit in on something like that.
yeah,
so if you would share them from my email, I've already done that. I sure can.
yeah, and once we
Also,
are
and
back to
also
having
same thing.
secretary,
You have some? You have some across your desk?
usually I get them forwarded through the
Okay.
secretary, and then sometimes when I've done one with a
An
group, then they
organization,
add you
right.
to their email list.
Right here, it's land use for the Hudson River Estuary. Just talking about that.
Great. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, we can adjourn and get back together on the 18th, hopefully wrap up this Jameson.
Move to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
All right.
I'll second it.
Seconded. Done. We don't even have to vote. Cool. I'll end this stream.